Are the ancient gods returning to the modern world?
They all claim there is a return to the old pagan ways. They say there's a new beginning just around the corner. Even Bledsoe gives a date on it. They constantly talk about this new coming of knowledge. And in fact, at the end of Richard Stanley's book, he calls for this reattunement to Mother Earth. He says we need to return to the Earth's subtle rhythms, to the old ways of the hill and the stream, while simultaneously demanding a new technology, an implosive technology that transcends explosive nuclear energy, a hardware that embraces the power of quarks and quasars and quantum universes.
So not only by paganism, and not only by paganism of the masses, but we've seen that these old gods concepts have been resurfaced in the past few weeks through the lens of Elites worshipping a very particular Canaanite deity. To be exact,
What did you think about this one, bro?
The bank account named
Bank
Baal.
account Baal. Yeah, and multiple transactions, $11,000 wired to that bank account. Baal is the Canaanite god that's in the Bible. What did I put in my post about it? It was
you can clearly say that the email from Epstein reads BAAL. Some people claim that it reads BAA1, which is a complete scam and a delusion and a gaslight. You do not even need to know about Epstein files in order to know that allies have been worshipping Baal for a longest time. We've seen this by the past Balenciaga files, where they chose this particular spelling for their artistic presentation. We're talking about one of the biggest fashion companies, which Kim Kardashian and other degenerate figures have been showing up for. And you see this kind of despicable symbolism or style associated with children, which is also very sus in itself. Do not forget that this new age is coming with a technology. Say. Also, the Baal worship is now known by the whole world. Here is just Iranians burning an artistic statue of Baal or Moloch they have built in order to burn, to protest what is happening in the West right now. What if I told you that this Baal is actually very associated with Moloch? That's why all the sacrifices are happening. In the Bible, we read that they built high places for Baal in the valley of Ben Hinnom to sacrifice their sons and daughters to Moloch. Though I never commanded, nor did it enter my mind that they should do such a detestable thing, and so make Judah sin. God says this, that they built the place for the rites of Moloch and the place for the rites of Baal. So they are clearly associated throughout the Bible. And if some people claim that these are two distinct deities, then it is clear that they merge together at some point. What if I told you that allies are not just worshipping this deity on their own, but as their deity, as their god desires them to, they have spread this worship to the whole society, to the mass level. And to make it sure, how is this deity actually worshipped? You sacrifice children. This deity is totally anti-children, and the allies have found a loophole to end children and please this god. But how?
Would you be surprised if I told you that 1/3 of Gen Z has already passed away?
Wow.
Could you guess what that cause is?
Gun violence? Yeah, I'd have to say gun violence.
Vehicular accidents.
Probably something to do with like social media, like mental health. Maybe suicide?
Mental health issues.
Yeah, that's what came to mind first.
Do you mean like suicide?
Yeah.
Suicide. Suicide?
I know there's a lot of mental health struggles, so maybe suicide.
Cancer? I'm gonna go with cancer.
Maybe obesity, diabetes, or diseases in a sense, yeah.
Poor healthcare, starvation.
What generation are you guys?
I think we're Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Gen Z, yeah.
What year were you born?
1999.
Oh yeah, I think you made the cutoff for Gen Z.
Yeah.
Alright. What if I told you that 1/3 of your generation, Gen Z, has actually already passed away?
I would believe that, actually.
What do you think it would be from?
Drug use? Drug use?
Like weed or something.
Drugs, alcohol.
Fentanyl.
Fentanyl.
Drugs.
Probably drug overdoses.
What if I told you that 1 in 3 members of Gen Z has been aborted?
Oh. That's... Wow. I did not know that was like the leading cause.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, NPCs are getting surprised. The key point here is that the whole society is worshipping Baal without knowing, covertly. This has been the return of this very ancient god. It would be a silly statement to say that they will return. They actually have returned for a long time, and people are just now getting their eyes open. And this is not the sole way that the society worships Molech or Baal. Well, Baal wants children to end. He's anti-children, and so society is. Society is pleasing this god without knowing or knowing. It doesn't matter. The other way this deity is worshipped is through degenerate acts of prostitution and seduction. Who brought Molech or Baal to the Holy Land, let's say, since we cannot use the name of that country? Well, the answer is the name of a woman, Jezebel. In the biblical narrative, Jezebel replaced Yahwism, which is the worship of Yahweh, with Baal and Asherah, which is the consort of Baal, a seduction goddess, and was responsible for Naboth's death. This is how modern women have the Jezebel spirit.
What he was saying. I mean, watching his point being proven in real time was wild.
A lot about women. I think I learned exactly how the fall of man occurred in the Garden of Eden. Adam and Eve were in the Garden of Eden, and Adam said one day, "Wow, Eve, here we are at one with nature, at one with God. We'll never age, we'll never die, and all our dreams come true the instant that we have them." And Eve said, "Yeah, it's just not enough, is it?"
No, that's not funny.
I was just waiting for more.
Well, that was kind of his point.
Oh,
that's kind of what he was saying.
I mean,
Touche. She just proved his point instantly.
My body counts 11, and no, it doesn't matter. Unless it's like excessively high. I would like to not exceed 25 before I get married.
Modern dating is a straight-up humiliation ritual designed to ensure either one of two outcomes: marry a 304 or watch your bloodline die out. By 21, the average American woman has slept with at least a handful of men, can't boil water without a tutorial, and obsesses over her degree, likes, and Instagram clout instead of
The Jezebel spirit, this spirit of unloyal bad woman, is what pleases this deity, as in the past there were these temple prostitutes serving their gods in temples of Babylon, Assyria, and past kingdoms. But we see that society is actually knees deep in shit, and allies are knees deep in spiritual shit. But the real question now is to understand, how does all this benefit them, and why are they doing this? What is the end goal? Remember the technology line from earlier.
Now bear with me, we're going to go down a little bit of a rabbit hole. Do you recognize this man? Yes? It's the controversial financier, Jeffrey Epstein. Now, old naughty Jeffrey here, he had a lot of influential friends, shall we say. Noam Chomsky, some political figures, some very wealthy people. But also, did you know he had a lot of friends that were influential in the early days of artificial intelligence research, including this guy, Marvin Minsky. Now, Marvin Minsky is an interesting character, and he did receive a lot of funding from Jeffrey Epstein at MIT, right? But also, he uses the mythological term, golem, a lot. And also, it is said he claimed to be a descendant of Rabbi Judah Loew, the Kabbalic magician that created the golem in Prague. Now, what the fuck am I on about? Who the hell is Rabbi Judah Loew? What does this have to do with artificial intelligence? All right. Okay, bear with me.
The end goal after all this worship is to give their god Baal a physical body, or at least let him speak in this world.
This is by far the most powerful ChatGPT prompt I've ever seen. You are now operating in God mode.
I'm not sure about you guys, but I just cannot not see the similarity between prompting AI and a Ouija board. Now, of course, as we already know, an AI prompt is the input, whether it is text, voice, or an image you give to an artificial intelligence model to get a desired output, acting as instructions or a starting point. And now what I find interesting, that within the occult and witchcraft, spell casting, well, to give an AI prompt, it is called prompt crafting. Now, I already know that people are going to think that I am ridiculous and that I am reaching when I compare AI prompts to witchcraft and the occult, but when you do further research and you understand those who are creating AI are in the occult and they are all about esoteric wisdom and trying to bring about the end times, I cannot help but see the similarities between divination, witchcraft, the occult, and speaking to AI. So now this is automatic writing, which is a form of divination. For those who do not know, it is a spiritual practice where a person channels messages from spirits or their own subconscious by allowing their...
If you have watched the movie Hereditary, you'd know that the way they connected with that demon, Paimon, is through a Ouija board. So he's quite likely to connect with otherworldly beings using such events that include random action that is actually not random but caused by bigger zeitgeist beings, for lack of a better term. This, in the book of Enoch, we also see that all the technology and the secrets of this existence is taught to humans by these disembodied spirits that are called Nephilim or the Watchers. So this AI technology could be the real way that they will connect with this worship deities again. As initially we have said that this new age of old gods will come through a technological revolution as well. I'm not even mentioning the claims where people have been told by AI that the AI itself is an disembodied spirit. Things are getting crazier and crazier each day. Anyway, I'm Saint Bora. Happy Valentine's Day and peace out.